assembly room was crudely fashioned out of the upturned hulls of the three ancient Viking ships that had once been sunk by the reefs at Brecker's Bay. Round at the edges of the room were cages containing human and dragon prisoners stacked up on top of one another, right up to the ceiling. In the centre of the hall stood the Alvin's men. The Alvin's men were a grim, tattooed, unsightly crew of vicious and murderous criminals who had once been the more unpleasant members of the Visithugs. Murderous, outcast, hysteric and ugly thug side, the nastier side of the archipelago, had all followed Alvin and the witch and had grown ghastlier as a result. It brought out the worst in them. The Alvinsman dragged Hiccup into the centre of the hall and pushed him forward in front of a man in an iron mask. Snotlout swaggered in afterwards. It took a few seconds for Hiccup to recognise the man in the iron mask as Alvin the Treacherous. He was wearing none of the lost things, not even the ruby heartstone bracelet. Alvin was now a man of war, and the iron mask gave his breathing and his voice a dreadful rasping quality. He was a warrior made almost entirely out of metal, from his gleaming hook to the spears and swords and arrows hanging round his person. Even his ivory leg was capped in steel. Along with many other dreadful instruments of war suspended around his waist, he not only had dragonwalker helmets, but also, the sad remnants of their beards. On recognition of Hiccup, he let out a joyful yell of delight that was distorted by the grill of the mask into a rasping animal screech. The witch Eleanor bounded over on all fours. She was a long, lean wolf skeleton with a terrible dead whiteness to her, bleached of all human kindness and colour. She might have been a woman, but her semi-baldness, noted too in the long white hairs sprouting on her jutting chin, seemed to suggest something else, and in one bound she pinned Hiccup to the floor, a wild animal about to strike, and she opened up her terrible jaws with those shark-like teeth ground and sharpened into points, and screamed so loudly that she showered poor Hiccup with her horrible witch spittle. "We've got him, we've got him, the little wretch, victory is ours." Hiccup shrank away from her, for she was terrifying. Whatever dead animal she had been chewing on had stuck between her teeth and made her breath stink. Great cheers went up from the Alvin's men. Groans from the dragonwalker prisoners held in the cages on the edges of the room. The witch reared up on her hind legs, dragging Hiccup to his feet. "Oh, well done, Snotlout, well done," she caroled. "Well done, my poisonous boy. Hiccup believed you." "Believed every single subtle word," smirked Snotlout, high-fiving the Alvin's men, and even Alvin himself, which was actually a slightly painful experience. This is excellent news," sang Alvin. "It means I shall be eating Hiccup's heart by this evening." "You're revolting," snapped her voice. It was coming from inside a large box in the corner of the room. "Kamikaze!" "Oh, thank Thor and Woden, pretty much everybody." Hiccup was quite limp with relief. "Oh, look. Kamikaze, I'm sorry, Kamikaze." That's a hiccup around the chest containing Kamikaze. "Are you all right in there, Kamikaze?" "I'm fine," said the voice from the box cheerfully. "I could not be finer. Don't you worry about me, Hiccup. I'm absolutely okay." "Why have you put Kamikaze in a box?" Hiccup demanded of the witch. "I didn't want the little escape artist to escape," purred the witch in reply. The box was neatly wrapped up in heavy chains and padlocks. The witch was taking absolutely no chances. "Are you sure you're all right, Kamikaze?" Hiccup shouted at the box. He hadn't forgotten her for a moment in all of this time. How could he? "Oh, yes," said the box. "It's roomier in here than it looked. Quite comfy, really. And there are plenty of air holes, but eating is hot indeed. You should be ashamed of yourself, Alvin. And you never learn, witch. Hiccup will trick you again, just like he always does, and it'll be you that is checkmated, just like all the other times." "Poor little bog burglar," cooed the witch. "The winds of war can change, my pretty love. The winds of war can change. Your boyfriend has a weakness, you see." "Hiccup is not my boyfriend," protested the box furiously. "He wants to believe the best in people," continued the witch, ignoring her, "and as a result, Snotlout seems to have tricked him pretty easily." "That traitor!" spat the box. "I expect you warned Hiccup not to trust Snotlout, didn't you, Kamikaze?" purred the witch. By the silence from the box, the witch knew she had scored a hit. "Tut, tut," soothed the witch. "You see, my pretty one, kings must not be so easily tricked. Can you not see that you have backed the wrong side? The boy's father has failed to find our hideout. The boy's mother has failed to steal the lost things. The boy himself is so weak that he has walked straight into my trap. He isn't really the right stuff to be king, is he? You are evil, shouted the voice of Kamikaze from inside the box. Thank you, smiled the witch. As I was saying, the winds of war can change in a heartbeat, and you too can change sides if you want. Everyone in this room should know that it's not too late to change your loyalties and be on the winning side. Never, cried Kamikaze. You can't see me, Hiccup, but inside this box I'm quite definitely not turning my back. That's because she did earlier in How to Bake a Dragon's Heart. I'm never turning my back on you again, said Kamikaze from inside the box. Why would you want to follow Hiccup? He's a fool, screamed the witch. The fool, the fool, the fool. Believe the word of someone who has betrayed him twice before? How could he be such an idiot? Because I know there is good in Snotlout, said Hiccup stubbornly, trying to cross his arms, but failing to do so because one of his arms was sort of flopping. Oh, for Thor's sake, Hiccup, snapped Snotlout. Stop forgiving me. It's really irritating. Snotlout, you are a traitor, came a bellow from a cage in the corner of the room. It was Gobber the Belch, Hiccup's old teacher, who must have been captured by the Amazonmen. His magnificent golden yellow beard, a sign of his proud warriorhood, had been hacked off at the root. Oh no. It was hard to look at his face now. It was edged with that rough, ragged desecration. That was the worst thing you could do. Oh. To a Viking warrior, it was like hacking off a lion's mane. Hiccup's ex-beard was now hanging like a scalp from Alvin's wrist, and Alvin ran it jeeringly through his fingers and shook at it, Gobber tauntingly. I have your beard, old man, he chusted softly through his mask. I have your beard. But Gobber was alive, at least, and still fighting. Snotlout! Hello, Gobber. I offered you the chance to change sides back in the slave lands. I said then you would be an asset to the company of the Dragonmark. I withdraw that offer. You are a disgrace to your name and your tribe. Snotlout bit his lip, but he recovered to say contemptuously, well, at least I'm not locked up in a cage. Now that really would be a disgrace. The Alvin's shoulders laughed uproariously at that. Better a noble slave than a free dog, shouted Gobber. Snotlout flushed. You betrayed me, said Snotlout fiercely. You betrayed everything you ever taught me about life. And look what happened as a result of this weakness. Snotlout gestured to the world outside. The world at war. The dragons on the edge of destroying us all. And still you are saying that it is I who am the traitor? You are the traitor. You are all traitors to the world that I loved. How dare you call me traitor, roared Gobber. Do you think I find it any easier than you, you shrimp, that the world has changed around me? But that world has already vanished, and the choice we have to make now is between Hiccup and Alvin, who even you must be able to see is the essence of evil. Thank you very much, said Alvin, gratified. We may be prisoners of war, blurted Gobber, but we can still turn our backs on you, Snotlout, Dragonmarkers. I invite you all to turn your backs on this dog, this town cat, whose name shall be passed down forever as a byword for treachery and deceit. Inside his cage, the old warrior turned his back on all around him the captured Dragonmarkers, Mogodog the Meathead and his son Thuggery, Gravative, Grim, Sporter, Harriet Horse did the same. You can't see me in my box, said Kamikaze, but I am turning my back as well. Snotlout's eyes were feverishly bright. He pretended with his usual bravado that he really did not care about his old teacher and comrades turning their backs on him. It didn't bother him in the least. Well, I would be more upset by you turning your backs on me, snurred Snotlout, if it weren't for the fact that you are the same people who have chosen Hiccup as your leader. I mean, just look at him. The Dragonmarkers who had turned their backs looked over their shoulder a little thoughtfully at Hiccup, and some of them were suddenly gripped by doubt. Hiccup was a particularly pathetic sight at that moment, half white, half purple, his left-hand side dragging like a bird with a broken wing, his arm flopping at his sides as if it was stuffed with rags, his helmet loose on his head. There he is. That's Hiccup. And Hiccup is so stupid, sneers Snotlout. He has even brought the last lost thing with him. Almost unable to believe his luck, Alvin reached inside Hiccup's waistcoat with his hook and drew out a struggling, furious, wriggling, coatless little Toothless. Hiccup looked at the floor, not quite able to bear seeing the gaze of his followers turning from belief to disappointment. Let Toothless go, squeaked Toothless. I mean, I told my master that this was a very, very bad idea. Oh, gasped the witch in ecstasy. Oh, this is too good to be true. The last lost thing as well. Gobber and the dragon markers gasped in horror. Their last hope gone. This time we will keep good care of the last lost thing, grinned the witch, and hide it immediately with the others. It's not like you have excelled yourself. It's not like bowed low before the witch and the Alvin. Will you do the honour of entrusting me to carry the last lost thing to the hiding place where you keep the other lost things? Said Snotlight. His voice was light, casual. The witch's eyes narrowed. That is a very great secret. Nobody knows where we have hidden those things. I've proved my loyalty to you both by betraying my former tribe and kingsman, said Snotlight. I'm now no longer a hooligan, but Alvin's loyal subject, an Alvinsman of the Wild West. The witch thought a while, regarding the boy in front of her. That's not bad, turn into the dark side. With her acute serpent eyes, and then she hissed softly, we are, of course, full of gratitude to you for your services to Alvin and to the Wild West, Snotlight, and you shall receive your just reward. However, the witch stood in front of Snotlight, her eyes glittering with malice. I'm not sure that I am going to entrust you with that secret, she sneered, and every word was like the thrust of a thin, sharp knife. You have brought me the Hiccup boy, the toothless dragon, sure enough, but you think that means that I would trust you with the location of the lost things? You are a turncoat, a weasel. You make a good minion, and you are irrevocably bound to our side now that you have betrayed your own forever. They would never take you back. Yes, you see, you are ours now. It's not that ours forever. Snotlight flinched as if realising for the first time what being the witch and Alvin's forever really meant. And you will have your little place in our new kingdom, continued the witch. But I do not trust a weasel, no, for I can see into the weasel's mind. Now the witch's voice was honey-sweet. And that was always when she was being the most vicious. You might be planning to steal those things and not bid to become king yourself. You know in your heart of hearts that you are not good enough, but against all evidence you might have hoped, you poor boy. Something in Hiccup's face, Snotlight's face, a switch of his mouth perhaps, betrayed that the witch might be right. But proud as he was, Snotlight said nothing. You might have thought to trick us all, but... Oh, and now the witch's voice hardened. Fate knows her business, and she has not always only picked... And she has always only picked two players as possible king, Alvin or Hiccup. You were never good enough, despite all your fine Viking qualities. Sarcasm dripped from her voice and Snotlight flinched. Fate has shown you what you really are, and what you really are is a treacherous worm. There was a dreadful solemn silence in the hall, as if everyone was watching a bloodless death. If you could kill a person with words, stab them with the pure shock of your spite, why, the witch was the person to do it. Snotlight looked as if he was about to throw up. Even the Alvin's men were gazing at him with contempt. Nobody likes a traitor. Snotlight opened his mouth to speak. No words came out, and he closed it again. He bowed his head and his shoulders sagged, and he made himself take up as little space as possible, as if he wished for invisibility. He stepped back into the shadows. Having thus dispatched Snotlight, I almost feel sorry for him, Snotlight, even though, oh dear. The witch passed the cage containing the Toothless to the very vicious, the Visified, to whom she whispered the secret hiding place of the lost things. The implication was clear. Very Vicious was not as clever as Snotlight, but he was a lot more trustworthy. Hiccup, Toothless' wailing cry was unbearable. Hiccup could not look at him. He felt like he was a traitor, and he betrayed Toothless. All my fault, thought Hiccup, all my fault. Inside the cage, Toothless's spines were drooping pathetically. Mama Master, don't let them take me. Please don't let them take me. Toothless is yours, and I am the best lost thing. Best lost thing. Trust me, Toothless, it will be fine. I'll rescue you, Toothless. Don't worry, it's all part of Plan B. Hiccup called after him in Dragonese, so that no one else could understand, but he couldn't be sure that Toothless heard, as Very Vicious had already hurried out the door. Now we have all the lost things, the witch cried to the captured dragon markers. Your cause is hopeless. As soon as we turn up on the beach tomorrow, Alvin will be accepted as the new king. It is not too late to repent and turn to Alvin's side. We still stand by Hiccup, roared Gobber the Belch. The dragon markers yelled their defiance, some more certain than others. Hiccup, Hiccup, Hiccup forever! That's very loyal of you, purred the witch between gritted teeth. Very loyal indeed to stand by Hiccup. But the question is, will the boy stand by you. Chain the boy up. Oh, look, and there's them two to say, "My master, don't let them take me." Oh, poor Hiccup. Oh, the next chapter is called The Testing of a Hero. It's going to be emotional. I feel it.